All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy with Coach Kathy, Quality Coach Kathy, and I am here with Friday Morning Group Coaching. I'm delighted to be co-hosting with Wendy every Friday. We do tapping into wealth processes. We invite other coaches, clients, people in our life to participate. We record it for YouTube so that people out in the world can be exposed to this incredible process of self-discovery, measuring with money, and using the metaphor, finding more joy and satisfaction in our personal lives, and really connecting as a world community, as a Zoom community. We love the work of Margaret Lynch and the tapping into wealth processes. Today, we're going to be working through a process of early money paradigm. It's an aspect of the early money paradigm, and Wendy's going to take the lead, do some scripted coaching. We're all going to have an opportunity to experience the process personally, and we encourage anyone who may be watching to participate, because the value is in doing your own work. Because when we shift internally, we're more able to shift externally. And when we take into our power, our mindset, we really get to live the resourced, inspired, satisfied, purposeful life that we're meant to live, a wealthy life. So I'm Kathy, Quality Coach Kathy. I'm delighted to be here. And let's hear from our people, because we have quite a crew today. I'm so happy to see everyone. We'll go around. Well, let's hear from Wendy, co-host extraordinaire.
Woohoo! I'm excited to be here again today. It's just like every week, it seems like it gets a little better and a little better. And so, yes, I am a Tapping Into Wealth, and I'm a certified health coach also. And I am here working with people with chronic migraine pain who just want to be able to get out from under the dark covers in their room and join their life again, be in their social life, get their career back on track and flourishing. And these processes are amazingly adept at doing that also. So getting all the different aspects of life buoyed up and powerful. And so I'm excited to be here and share with you today part of the shadow of the early money paradigm. So we're going to get into that a little bit. And I'm honored here today to have my brother Keith join us. And Keith, if you want to say something about what you do, we would love to hear from you.
Oh, shucks, Wendy, come on.
Yeah.
I'm Keith, and I've been in IT for many years. Actually started my IT career in 1985, and over the last 30 plus years, I've worked very hard at that, but it's kind of getting boring, so I'm looking for some new challenges. I'd considered coaching for a while, tried it a little bit, and I guess my perspective on how I would do that is not the best opportunity for me. So I'm actually trying to help people through technology solutions, website development, as well as I do technology training now, because I like people. My thing is I like the people part of IT better than I like the computer part of IT. So I go out and I actually do training with a company that I've gotten hooked up with. So I go to Army bases all across the country and teach the Army soldiers that are doing anything to do with administration of computers, the things that they need to be certified that the government requires them so that they can get actually tested and certified, and I help them pass those tests. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and yesterday, in fact, I started my first day of the keto diet. So I'm working towards a healthier lifestyle and trying to improve my health and my overall well-being. And so results from day one are in, and I'm down 4 pounds.
In a day, wow.
So that's key.
Woohoo! Well, Welcome.
glad you're here. Really great. Glad you're here. Really appreciate it.
Happy to be here. I can't necessarily be here consistently because when I'm teaching on those weeks, I'll be consumed with my teaching activities. But otherwise, I'll try to make it.
Be great. Great. Vicki, you want to introduce yourself? Share a little bit?
I'd be happy to. My name is Vicki Dow, and my husband Tom and I have a business called Victorious Marriages. And we help couples struggling with the effects of past sexual abuse build a healthy, strong marriage. And we typically work with the wife first, and she what we found works is she'll maybe introduce, we give bonuses to programs we offer where she could, my husband Tom can work with the husbands and give them, we offer perspective, inspiration, and support for couples, helping them overcome past trauma and create a victorious marriage.
Thank you for being here, Vicki.
My pleasure.
Great. Paulette, Lucas, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well today. I'm Paulette Lucas, and I'm an intuitive transformational coach, and I've been working for about 32 years helping people, and I work with people who have a very strong inner critic because I did, and I still do, and I'm still working with it. And so sometimes it would kick my butt, and so I'm here to help other people to identify it so it doesn't hurt them continuously over and over again, and to help them to find out who they are and what they're worth. So that's who I am. And I'm so looking forward to being on here. I finally feel like, oh my God, I can be on here and not have to rush off to work, but I'll rush afterwards. So anyway, so thank you. And another thing I just have to say, I'm glad you're talking about refusing to have money, because today I woke up and some of you know where I've been, and I just said, you know what, it's time to give up this fight, and I feel like I'm doing some surrendering, and I don't care about anything of what's been going on in my life. I'm just kind of letting go of the fight today. I might fight tomorrow, but today I'm letting go of it.
Yes.
So, okay.
Awesome. Great job.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here. And certainly not least, our Kay Walker. Share with us about your business, about yourself.
Oh, hi, you guys. Thank you. I love being here. So I'm Kay Walker from Shifting into Balance. And I work with people to create a tapestry in our lives through the building and weaving around the chakras. And I'm developing group coaching and developing some presentations around what I call chakra rising. So that's my new exploration. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Love it.
I love it. Yeah. Well, welcome everyone. Let's just take a nice deep breath together and we'll dive into our process for the day. If you have paper, pen ready, get yourself prepared for some really valuable inner exploration and some work. We're going to be doing a process for about 25 or 30 minutes. Maybe a little longer, but in there, and we'll wrap up at the top of the hour.
Awesome. Deep
breath.
Yep. Settle in, feel the support of your chair, your spine, feel your feet on the floor. Just get grounded a little bit, and we will dig into some work around why we might refuse to be rich. Did you ever think you would refuse to be rich? It's really interesting because consciously we would think, of course I want to make good money. Of course I want to contribute more to the world. Of course I want to support my family in a really good way. Of course, right? You know, if you think about doubling or tripling your income, it sounds pretty good, right? I think it sounds really good, but not according to your subconscious. your subconscious mind has some other things to say about that. And your subconscious mind is about 85% of your mind. So really, we're making decisions consciously with about 15% of our minds. And we don't often know what's going on in our subconscious, right? It's hidden under there. So we're not really sure what's going on. But when we, if we look at what the work we've been doing the past few months together, there's a multitude of reasons why our subconscious mind will prevent us from moving forward in our goals, making money, expanding our business, helping the world, whatever those goals are. So whatever riches we're after. So we're going to uncover some of those today, look at them as the shadow pieces that they can be, and do some tapping around that to clear and to help us move forward. Does that sound good? Awesome. So if your subconscious mind interprets having a lot of money or being rich as bad, it's going to sabotage you. And the goal of your subconscious mind is to keep you safe. So our subconscious has developed from when we were born, even before, it's been there with us all this time. And we've downloaded a lot into it. So what's the reason why our subconscious might think might believe it's not safe to be rich? Does that make any sense? It can seem totally the opposite of what our conscious mind thinks. So let's look at this a little bit. So if you think about, I'm going to call it programming, ideas, beliefs you got from your parents, from school, from religious upbringing, from society around you when you were little, what are some of the ideas that you got? I'm going to go through some common ones, okay? So what is it about rich people that we might have started believing, right? So maybe we believe they're arrogant, they're dishonest, or they just don't care about people. Rich people are selfish, right? Or maybe we believe that money corrupts good people. Okay. Another thing we might believe is that rich people think they're better than us, and we wouldn't have their problems. And so what's really interesting is those ideas and thoughts, if they get in our subconscious, that's what's going to control us, because remember, 85% of our decisions are subconscious. So maybe some people have had religious training. They grew up in a certain church, and it was a sin to be rich, or it was an idol, or it's bad to worship money. And while that's true, there are ways that we can have money that are healthy, right? But this subconscious programming and beliefs that are in our nervous system can stop us. They can sabotage. Even if we earn really good money, we can get rid of it easily, right? It just disappears, right? So, this programming can give us beliefs that can be extreme. So some things that I've heard is you can't be rich and spiritual, right? Money's a false idol, and we shouldn't worship money. And I totally agree with that. I don't think it's right to worship money. But we're talking about what's in there, what is the key beliefs underneath? It's better to be happy than rich. Is it possible to be both? It's a good question. So another area of life that can really reinforce some of these things in our nervous system and why we would sabotage ourselves getting rich is TV and movies that we grew up with, right? How do they depict rich people? often they're buffoons, they're selfish, I was thinking of the Howells on Gilligan's Island, right? They were kind of selfish and entitled, and they were just kind of these, like, I don't know if I want to be around them. I don't want to be like them, kind of like, what's the word I want? Clueless. I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be rich. So my little girl may have said, I don't want to be rich because I don't want to be like the Howells. Right. But there's other TV and movie characters that we've seen that maybe have characteristics that we just were like, I don't want to be like that. Or if you think of people that are rich now, that are like popular or, really prominent in society, what are the characteristics that they have? I can think of one politician right now that I just do not like how his richness shows. I feel like he doesn't care about people. He'll do anything to promote his own cause and not, it doesn't care about anybody else in society. And that just pisses me off to no end. Okay, so there's a little bit of feeling inside here about this rich person, and we're going to go there a little bit today. So, and while you may not think these associations, you may not think about them consciously, they come up when we see things in the media, right? When we see things out there, if like you see a rich person ripping off people, these scams that are out there or whatever, it brings up these feelings, even if we don't see them consciously, feel them consciously, they're subconscious in there. And so your subconscious mind has recorded all of these things that you encountered growing up, whether it's religious beliefs, whether it's TV and movies, whether it's things your parents said, right? Your parents may have said, rich people are blah, 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 so, and as far-fetched as it may seem, your mind makes a conscious connection between becoming wealthy and emotional pain and loss. So we're going to get into that a little bit. So the subconscious mind, I'm going to read a little bit of this here because it's really good stuff. So the subconscious mind can find many reasons for why you should never become rich. Your most deeply wired and primitive survival instinct may believe you're safest and you'll survive better if you refuse wealth. So if we go back to the primitive minds, you couldn't leave your tribe. You couldn't be different than your tribe. If you were cast out of your tribe, you might die. So this is a survival instinct that's inside of us, right? And if our subconscious is saying you can't be rich because it's not safe and you won't survive, even though your conscious mind says, I really need that money. I want that money. That would be awesome. I could do a lot of good things. There's a conflict here. And it needs to be, and it can be rewired. Our subconscious can be rewired. Our nervous system can be rewired. And that's why we're talking about all this. So this kind of programming can override consciously knowing there are philanthropists and other wealthy people that do lots of good, right? So there are rich people out there who are not evil, who are not greedy and selfish and all this, but why is the negative what lands in our nervous system, right? So another thing that happens is a lot of people recall money issues within the family. So maybe there was worry or anxiety or fighting about money. And that gets lodged in our nervous system, especially when we're a kid. Maybe I don't feel safe because my parents were fighting about money. Or my mom was really subservient and just, okay, whatever. My dad liked to spend. I got to have that new car. But mom worked hard. She just worked. Whatever it was in the family can also reinforce this subconscious, I need to be safe, so I can't be wealthy. So as a child, did you have battles in your family around money? Did you witness that? What might you have picked up? So the messages in our subconscious can be loud and clear that money equals anger, conflict, guilt. that can be lodged in our subconscious. So I want to do a little exercise with you now where we're going to like see that. So I'm going to do some more reading, but before that, I just want to say this money equaling anger and conflict or guilt. If that's true in your nervous system, you're not going to find ways to keep money and make money. You're going to find ways to get rid of it or not make it because it equals conflict or anger or guilt or anxiety or unsafety. Okay, so you have to really open your mind to this is the mind body. It's what's going on subconscious versus conscious mind. And let's see. I want to help you turn the table and uncover the programming, okay, that you have inside from your parents, your religious upbringing, from TV, from movies, social, media, whatever. So I want you to picture somebody that's amassed a large amount of money. And if you need to close your eyes and relax and just really use your ability to picture, your ability to create a movie in your head. We're not going to go too far with this, but I want you to just let your mind paint this picture for you, okay? So picture someone who's created a tremendous amount of wealth that you have a hard time not judging for attitudes they have or behaviors they have. I already mentioned somebody earlier that really is sticking in my craw right now. So maybe you don't fully respect them. Maybe your parents would say negative things, or your siblings, or your friends might say something really negative about them, or maybe you even talk with people about this person and just are like, they're so blah, 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 blah. What is it? What are those things? So close your eyes and picture them. And I want you to imagine yourself looking at them. You're with them and you're looking right at them. How do they look? And what is your judgment about them? And if you have paper and pen, just quietly jot down those judgments. What is it you'd say about them? What is it that irks you about them? They're selfish, they're greedy, they don't care about other people, they're arrogant, they're kind of stupid. And how can they have all this money and yet they seem so stupid? What is it? Are they unkind or snobby, money grubbing? What is it? All they care about is money and not people. That's how I feel right now. All they care about is money. Makes me angry. So just jot down anything that comes to mind. Everything you're feeling, specifically, because believe it or not, it's directly tied to the gift you'll get to the other side of the tapping that we're going to do. Oh. Vicki came up with something good. Awesome. So we're going to do some tapping now, and I'm going to use some generic words. And you're not going to be heard. Nobody's going to hear you. You can be as loud as you want. The more honest we are in doing this and over the top we are when we're doing this, the more we're going to clear. So use your words. If I say, they're selfish, they're arrogant, whatever the words you wrote down, that's what I want you to say. So substitute whatever you came up with. Okay, so Keith, you're familiar with the tapping? You remember how to do it? Okay, good. I know everybody else does. So we're just going to tap through the points and just repeat after me. And I'm going to read through the script and again put in your own words. So there they are. This rich person. Look at them. They're so rich. They're so arrogant. They're so clueless. They think they're better than everyone. They think they're better than me. They are so corrupt. They're so selfish. They don't care about anyone but themselves. And they just care about money. They're totally focused on money. Selfishly focused on themselves. They're totally materialistic. And I don't ever want to be like that. I would never be like that. And my family and friends would agree with me. They're an awful example of wealth. And I totally judge it. And I should. Because I'm totally right. They're arrogant and selfish. And they don't care about important things. Like people. And they've probably screwed a lot of people to get where they're at. They've probably hurt a lot of people to get to the top. And I totally judge them. And I totally should. My parents would agree with me. My friends and siblings would agree with me. I never want to be anything like that. I refuse to be wealthy like that. I don't want to have anything to do with wealth like that. Take a really deep breath. Ground yourself again. And just notice how you're feeling. All right. Did it seem at all freeing to voice that resistance to the shadow? To just say what you've been thinking? It can. Maybe you need to get a little more emphatic, a little more over the top with it, but this can really help clear what's underneath there. So close your eyes and just picture that person again and see how they look to you. Do they look any different to you? Do your feelings, have they changed at all? Are they still triggering as much as they did before? So often after just one round of tapping, there's a shift and it's less. And if not, or if you want more, come back to this video, because this is the beauty of doing this live and posting it, that you can come back and do this again as many times as you want or need to. So now I want to talk about how this negative that I helped you bring out, which we love to focus on the negative, right? Not. But this negative that you see in other people who are maybe rich and have these characteristics that you don't like, or you perceive them as having characteristics that you don't like, I want you to really open up your mind a little bit, and we're going to talk about this as shadow. Okay? So the feelings about it offer you a special gift okay, the feelings you feel about these other people offer you a special gift, and that they teach you about qualities that you lack that can assist you in your goals, in your becoming more rich than you are, as rich as you want, whether it's in money, in influence with people, whatever. But there's qualities that you lack in your work and your goal and your efforts to make more money. And you can work on developing them if you know what they are, right? So if we look at this thing in other people, it's a shadow in us. We project out. I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be a sinner. I don't want to be guilty. I don't want to be this. And so when I see these things in these other people out there, I'm seeing a part of myself. I'm projecting out onto them. And so once we clear them, then we can start working towards our goals with a clearer sense of ourselves and with more genius or more, just our creativity. So yeah, take a deep breath. This is really interesting work, I think, and it can be hard. So other people may have built wealth in negative ways and be arrogant about it. But the gift is revealed through their shadow when you can look beyond your own negative attitude and see them more objectively. That makes sense. So if you examine some of your main judgments, these things I had you write down that you have about rich people, if you examine them one at a time, you might start to understand the benefits that they can offer you. Okay, when you look at those negative qualities. For example, if you think of rich people as arrogant, we can just chat for a few minutes, but if you see rich people as arrogant, what do they get to experience? What is it that they get out of being arrogant? Okay, and if you want to unmute and offer anything, I'm happy to just hear what you guys think about this.
Power.
They have power.
They get what they want. It trumps other people's wishes
Okay.
because they have money, so they have like high clout.
Okay, so they get
same thing as power, but it's also
different nuance there. Power, clout. They get what they want. Writing these down. Yep. Anything else?
greater influence. So it's just kind of another way of saying that.
Yep. Greater influence. Do they get to ask for what they want to receive it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their center of attention.
Yeah.
Center of attention, maybe?
More things.
Okay, yep. They get more
Success even.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And authority, like they get a sense of authority or.
Yeah. So they I was thinking they honor their value, right?
Yeah.
Are they ever underpaid?
Rarely.
Okay.
It's all
Not
about
the ones
them.
I'm thinking of.
It's all about them.
It's all about them. Yeah. So those are awesome. And so, but is there any of these things that you want?
Yes.
Do you want more power or clout, success? Do you want to be able to ask more freely for what you want?
I want greater ability to influence.
Greater ability to influence, okay. How about getting paid what you're worth? Not what society says you're worth. What's that?
Sounds pretty good. I'll take it.
Sounds good. I'll take it, right?
Not be afraid to be in the center.
Okay. Right. A lot of people don't put themselves out there because of fear, right? So it's changing that, right? Here I am. So that's awesome, Paulette. So they get to be the center of attention, and maybe I want to be the center of attention. maybe I want that attention and that power and that clout, right? I want to make the money they make. So this is the shadow. There's things in this person that you maybe despise or I just don't like them. I don't like how they're rich, but there's gifts in that we tend to not see. Being selfish isn't always bad. Right? So what is a selfish or self-focused person getting?
Self-care.
Self-care. Mm-hmm.
Stating what they need and what they want.
Okay. So maybe an ability to set boundaries.
It seems like they don't work that hard. They're not working as hard.
Mm-hmm. I'd like that.
So work smarter, not harder.
Work smarter, not harder.
Balance.
They have balance. Okay. I was thinking they put themselves higher on their priority list. They're not at the bottom of their priority list, so that's self-care and the ability to receive.
They ask for what they want and they get it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. But I judge that person as selfish and arrogant.
It's in the how.
It's in the how.
How do you do it? How do you get what you want? How do you ask for those things?
Right. And if our nervous system, if our subconscious is blocking us from being able to ask, from being able to be in the spotlight, from being able to walk in our own power, if that's blocking, if that subconscious piece is blocking these characteristics in us,
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to walk, we're going to sabotage.
Something that just came up to me is being able to choose the people that you want to support you rather than something about getting, just accepting, like choosing, like I choose to be around people who are going to support me rather than people who are going to take away from me. So I have more of a choice in what I need and what I want.
Yeah. 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 So if we have more of an ability to choose those things, isn't that a good thing? Right. Awesome. And a lot of these things are our biggest challenges. Right. For me, stepping in the spotlight, being in the middle and being seen has been a huge challenge in my life.
And a great change.
And a great change. So being able to be here and do this, be leading a group is an amazing thing that, in my last job I had, I'm celebrating. I worked in a school and I barely ever spoke up in a meeting of 10 people. Other people in my same position. I couldn't do it. There was so much fear and whatever inside of me, I couldn't do it. Okay, Kay had to leave us. That's okay. So this is the type of change that happens when we do this work. You may not all have the same issue that I have, but we all have our own things. We all have our own things that we wrote down on our piece of paper. That rich person is blah, 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 blah. And those are the shadow pieces that are your challenge for you to work on. So we're just working here and finding the gift. Maybe there's a gift in being materialistic or money focused, right? I was taught that's really bad. You don't want to be money focused and materialistic. Things are not the end all be all, right? I know my brother loves Christmas to be over the top and it's so much fun and I love to be part of that. I love to do it too. I do it too. And yet there's still this belief underneath that things aren't everything, right? Things are, it's good. It's nice to have things, but relationships are more important or whatever. So
A big one for me was it's holier to be poor.
it's holier to be poor.
So every saint in the church pretty much has no money or they gave it away in the Catholic Church. That I was raised in. So that's a big one that I'm working with.
That's a hard one. Spirituality and money.
Yeah.
It seems to be one of the biggest blocks that people stumble over. And I think we can work through that.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's possible. So, well, rich people do manage and handle large amounts of money, right? And I know I've had trouble sometimes just managing money. And that's one of the things we do in Tapping Into Wealth is we try to become better money managers. It's part of the whole process, right? So are there gifts in here for you today? Anybody seeing some gifts? Awesome. So let's see. I get going sometimes and I lose my script in my head, so I have to go back to. So the side of the money shadow helps you to start see things that even though this person, I see these negatives in this person, the entire feeling behind it and what's in our nervous system is I'll never be like that. That prevents us from having a higher level of wealth. Or using healthier versions of qualities that we don't like. So using higher versions of qualities, things we don't like. I don't want to be unholy. I don't want to be selfish. But there's a way we can bring up that vibration. We can bring up that our ability to walk in that. That's not bad. It's not, so it's a healthy, it's a balance. So learning from these gifts can help us focus on creating the wealth that we want, okay? Having the arrogance to declare I'm worth this much money, this is my value, right? So there's a side of arrogance that's not just bad, but it's valuing my worth, and we could call it arrogance. In that rich person I despise, it's arrogance, but maybe I need to be a little more arrogant. Maybe I need to value myself a little more, right? And it helps us set boundaries and prioritize for our own financial well-being. So we're going to go into some more tapping and bring it all together so we can own more of our own power around money. Okay. The biggest gift in the money shadow work is clarity and permission. To be a really good money manager, to attract wealth, to manifest, and to be able to manage that. So for anybody who says, I'm not good at handling money, this is how we can become a better money manager, right? And if we've made a vow to never be like the shadows that we've seen, this is how we're going to clear that vow. Make sense? Okay, we're going to do some more tapping. I'm going to have you start on the karate chop point. Do you want to mute everyone? You did, Kathy. Thank you. You're awesome. So tapping on the karate chop point, just repeat after me. Even though I really judge this wealthy person, and I'm right about a lot of that, I'm open to seeing the conflict in this for me. I've been refusing to be anything like that because of rejection or disempowerment. And all the judgment it would get me in life. I judge this person. If I were to be wealthy, everyone would judge me that way. Even though I really judge this money shadow person, I'm open to seeing the conflict in it. And this vow to be nothing like them doesn't let me receive the gifts. This person has some gifts for me. For me personally. It's a calling to step into my power around money. And I'm open to receiving this gift right now. I'm open to stepping into the me that's $1 million money manager, who would love to handle, earn, amass, and manage a lot of money. So let's tap through the points. I have a lot of judgment. And so does everyone else I know. And I'm starting to totally understand my push against wealth. I see that now. I've managed to get rid of money to avoid ever looking like this other person. I totally honor this push against the money shadow. And now all their negative traits are clear. And I never really want to be like that. But I'm open to the gifts in this for me. The gifts in arrogance. A beautiful little gift in that word arrogance. A tiny bit more arrogance in my life might serve me. And I'm opening to the gifts in being selfish. A tiny little gift is such a negative word. Being a little more selfish around my life, my wealth, and my goals. That would be a gift for me. And I'm open to the gift of being focused on money. Too much focus is not in balance, but too little focus is causing me to be poor. So I'm open to the gift of being focused on money. Focused in a way that lets me bring my brilliance, my intelligence, and my energy to all my dealings with money. I'm open to growing myself into $1 million money manager. Earning money, handling money, managing large sums of money, and being the wealthy person that is congruent, that's loving and compassionate, and more than generous. I'm totally open to growing myself into a really good money manager. I may not be that person today. And as I commit to growing myself I let the universe know that it can send me lots of money. By God's grace, I can handle it. I can manage it. And I will do right by that money. And I totally honor my innate brilliance. And I'm now allowing that focus to include money and wealth amassment for my highest good. So take a really deep breath. And just notice how that settles in your body. What are you feeling in your body? So this money shadow work is a little different than what we've done before. Because it's hard to see that millionaire you pictured in a really negative light. But allowing this process to call you into your own power around money in a bigger way. Richer, more fuller. Imagine if you saw like a 20% increase in your ability to manage money and work with it. That would be huge, right? That would be huge. And if you stop allowing your subconscious to refuse to be rich, you can start to imagine all sorts of ways that you could amass money, right? And have the security, the safety you want in your life, have the power, the clout you want in your life, the influence. So say yes to it, right? Say yes to seeing the shadow and the gifts in it for me and tapping through that. Try breathe it in. Wow. Comments, questions, compliments.
Beautiful,
First of all,
Andy.
yeah, I was going to say, Wendy, this has really been very helpful. I know you don't know, my mom just died, so there's been a lot of issues with my family. And by doing this, I don't know, I feel an echo. But anyway, by doing this, I realized that this family that I've been wanting so much from are actually jealous of me being empowered by doing what I love doing and working and not working 8 hours a day and still doing what I'm loving doing. And I think that this whole thing with the money and the insurance, I read in the wealth book, because at my mom's, when we were doing the funeral thing, my brother handed me over this insurance policy that I was a beneficiary of, right, planning this, and tells me to sign it. And I'm like, what's happening? So I recognized here that whole betrayal that I was feeling is that I've wanted so much to be like them and in this family, and I've been breaking the vows in the tribe. And it was so empowering to do this with you today, because all the things of the anger and the judgment that has been coming at me has literally been my judgment, my shadow of not thinking I'm doing enough. And so I was fighting, and not only fighting for me, but I've got to fight for that family so they get their inheritance too. You know what? Screw it. I can make a whole lot more money than I'd be fighting over. So that's when I woke up this morning and said, I need to get rid of the fight so I can be who I am. So thank you. This was amazing, and you did a beautiful job. So that's wow.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful and really powerful.
Yeah.
And I know you have to go.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming today.
But it was very, very wonderful, and I just thank you for bringing that out, because I never would have thought that they were angry at me or seeing me as arrogant or anything, or even powerful. But I'm the only one who ever spoke up to him. You know what I'm saying? And he was always and I'm like, you're not doing that to me. But I also not did it to me. I did it for the family. The family, if they want to fight it, let them fight it. I'm done.
It was nice to meet you, Paulette, and I'm very sorry for your loss. Go with grace and integrity, and all will be fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith. It was wonderful meeting you. I've heard a lot of wonderful things about you.
Never talk about my brother.
That's crazy.
So take care. I love you, and thanks again.
Thanks, Paulette.
Bye.
That was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's really true that a little shift can go a long way. There's this metaphor of if you're a rocket scientist and you're headed towards the moon, 1 or 2 degrees makes the difference between hitting it or being miles and miles away. And our subconscious mind it's a thermostat. It's an autopilot that's going towards a set point. And if that set point is get rid of money, stay hardworking, and never really have anything to show for it, if that set point is stay amongst people that are familiar, even if they feel harsh and uncomfortable, then that's where we're going to hit. But the little degree, the tapping, the shadow work is literally setting that set point just enough that you can have more people that are pleasant to be around. The riches of life are multitude. It's not just measured in money. It's measured in satisfaction, capacity to give, how and to who you really are inspired to give. That the difference between giving out of obligation and the difference between giving out of inspiration is night and day. It may be the same act, but the experience is very different, and that's where the shadow work lives. That's where it gets integrated, and that's what I think we're meant to do in life, is to really have an abundant experience.
I agree with that. Yeah.
In the work today, I noticed that my shadow person was actually a hero of sorts, somebody that I admire, that I feel totally separated from. Because in the separation that things get put in the shadow. It's in the suppression, repression, not allowed to be.
I found that I was having a hard time having only one example to look at. One was a positive example and one was a negative example of extremely wealthy people. And the negative person is what I'm trying to push away from, and the positive person is what I'm trying to pull towards.
Yeah, that's a nice bit of clarity. This is what I want and this is what I don't want. So getting that clarity is
two people that have exactly the same thing in our environment here of wealth. Two different examples that are polar opposites of one another.
Interesting.
And for Vicki, the thought that came to mind when you said about the church makes it seem more holy to be to be poor. The first thought that came to mind for me was that if you have more resources, then you can tithe more, which helps to enhance the church and the experience that you can gain through that. And you can do things like fund mission trips and things like that will improve the experience of not only you but all of the church members.
Because there are people that have money within most churches that do contribute large amounts. And why is it they're in that position and I'm in my position?
Right. Why can't I have the same position that they have in terms of the ability to fund and help?
It's actually interesting you bring up people that help with funding church things. That was the group of the people I despised, because we were in a position at our church of keeping this huge youth center group that we had built, and it was off campus because we didn't have room on campus. So it was like a storefront, but we created a whole youth center there, and we were in a position of moving, and the people with the most money wanted it back on campus, and it was decided that it would be the program went from huge to this. And that decision seemed to be made by the people who had the most money in the parish, which didn't agree with the majority of the people. But the small group that had the most money seemed to make the decision.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's where I was having a hard time.
Yep.
Right, so they got to make the decision. They
Even
had
though
that.
it didn't seem like the best option, and it actually ruined all the plans for my sons. They stopped being a part of the program. So it really, it went from a program of hundreds of people, plus our youth minister quit, and it just destroyed our whole youth program.
Mhm.
And it seemed like it was made by a tiny group of people with a lot of money.
It sounds like they need another member of that tiny group that's a counterbalance.
Well, I don't know that that's the case, but that's
Yeah.
what it appeared to be.
Yeah.
And the point of this is not to analyze that. It's to look at our own beliefs anyways.
What is it that they have? What is it they received that you want and need?
Right. The power of looking towards the shadow, because when we're working with tapping, it's the body-mind connection. And it's noticing that fight in our own body system, either from the memory of it, from the projection into the future, but it's happening now. When we work with the body-mind connection, we're steering ourselves to feel abundant now, to feel the prosperity of the gifts now, and have that resource possibility in our system, regardless of having money. Because it's in the moment that we make our decisions. It's in the moment we make our choices. It's in the moment we use our words. It's in the moment we're managing the money. And the more we, in the moment, have a body-mind connection, that's okay with prosperity. That's okay with making big decisions for other people. That's okay with being an influencer. That's where the power is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't matter if we're talking about something in the past, if we're talking about some political climate right now, or if we're talking about our personal success in the future, as long as our body mind, that thermostat of the subconscious, is gripping, resisting, judging, suppressing, and basically sabotaging the experience of abundance, ease, all of those pieces we identified. That's where where our power gives back.
Plus, the tapping offers clarity. And I found that when we were tapping about those people, because the thought that occurred to me was, they are a prayerful group of people, so maybe God was a part of that decision, even though I didn't agree with the decision, to give them credit that they did allow the Holy Spirit to work through whatever happened. And then as soon as I had that thought, then my mind shifted to another business owner, online business owner, who's very successful in their business, but I had negative feelings toward them. So it was like that whole thing shifted. And as soon as I cleared it and tapped, that happened. So I agree with you, Kathy, that's all, all that happens.
Right. Yeah, and there could be several different shadows that we need to embrace. Right. So we're different situations, different people are going to come up, you know, if you keep focusing on the work. I actually started a online journal of the shadow, like when I really noticed myself criticizing somebody else. Yeah, I'm trying to journal that and figure out
right, because
what is the gift in it.
The shadow, in the projection, in the criticism, it is an unquestionable truth. We are right about that. And that is what's running the show. And it can take courage. It definitely takes coaching and other people supporting the dialogue and forming some of the inner dialogue to let down the resistance and say it's okay to even look for the gift. Because as soon as you say, actually, I do want that influence, it's the opposite from resistance. It's receptive. And that's where we're really meant to live, in a state of grace. So
yeah. Awesome. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for working through this with me today. And for
nice to have a man on our call. It really is important. We're all doing our work on different levels, and this recorded call really is designed to create a platform for us to do our own work. And Wendy's an amazing example of how she brings the vulnerability and her courage. Yes. And we're all examples. You know, the unique voices that we have most definitely speak to other people's points of need as well. So thank you for being here both. And particularly thanks for making the courageous first appearance as Wendy's brother here, and we do hope.
Well, I can tell you from experience that Wendy's transformation is really awesome to see. Her power shift has been like just a wonderful gift for the whole family to witness and to watch and experience, and it's really great. So congratulations, Wendy. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Breathing it in.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining Friday Group Coaching in the shadow side of the early money paradigm, doing some tapping into wealth processes. We're going to be back here next week working on some more fantastic stuff. We're going to do, what is it? How debt keeps you stuck, or maybe the 5 categories of money.
I think we're going to work on the 5 categories of money and how we really feel about money.
Yes. We touched a bit on money management in today's session, and it helps even more to chunk out pieces of saving, debt, earning more, and how those pieces get affect our different behaviors. So thank you so much for being here. We'll be back next week, and bye for now.
Have a great weekend and see you next week.
That's right. Bye for now.